Hey y'all, welcome back to Seeing What Sticks. As always, I am Jonathan Wall. Let me ask you a quick question. How old do you think I am? The answer might actually surprise you. People often peg me as much younger than I look. I am, in fact, 26. But what if you couldn't tell? What if there was no way to genuinely tell how old someone actually was? Well, that's today's topic. Stopping the aging process. But stopping the aging process with a twist. Does it stick? Well, let's go into more details and we'll find out together, yeah? So, what do I mean by stopping the aging process? I mean exactly as it sounds. You stop aging. Now, the idea for my topic is that you stop the aging process at any point in your life. So, if you're 16, you say, I'm good, you stop it right there, and you look 16 forever. If you think that you look your best at the age of 25, 35, 45, you can cut it off right there, and you will look just like that for the rest of your life. Now, I said there was a twist, and the twist is the for the rest of your life part of the previous section, which is the fact that you still die from old age. If you stop your biological clock at 16, after 70 years, when you're 86, you're still going to die. You're still going to die naturally. It's just you look like a 16-year-old. So if people had this power to them, then you couldn't tell at all who was who, or you couldn't tell at all what someone's age was at all. So you couldn't lump them into a generational demographic. You couldn't lump them into an age range unless they explicitly told you. But it also, I feel, it kind of adds a lot of anxiety when you meet someone new. Because, yes, a lot of people are going to choose to stop aging in their youth, mostly because decisions made in youth are very immature, very short sighted. So when you're a teenager, you're going to say, oh, I want to look like this forever. And then, boom, you're a teenager in body forever. Of course, you can experience life and you can grow and mature mentally, but you're still going to look and sound like a teenager. But when someone meets you and you tell them that you're actually 60, well, now they're going to be real concerned because you're getting to that point in life where you are about to die, or you could die. Now, there could be several ways that you could spin this type of story. I did say that you looked like you were 16 if you said cut it off at 16. Perhaps if we're talking about dying from natural causes, your body internally ages still. If you still look like you're 16 years old, a real hottie Bugatti, at age 70, you could still have heart issues. You could still have kidney problems. You could still have brain disorders. And that can cause a lot of anxiety in a social world. Because any person you meet, no matter what their age is, like if they're a young person, you can't tell how old they actually are. You don't know what problems to expect when you meet them. They could be going through, there could be this 20-something-year-old person who's acting completely irrational. And it turns out they're actually in their 80s and they've got Alzheimer's, which would be crazy. But it also means that if you see somebody who actually looks old, then you can trust that their age is as they look, because they decided not to stop their biological clock at any point. If this guy is old, with gray hair and liver spots, you can trust that he is elderly. And then there's the confusion in regards to families, when you've got everybody who decides to stay young, because let's be honest, most people would decide to stay young and in their prime for the rest of their lives. How are you going to tell between the mother and the daughter? Between the mother, the daughter, the granddaughter, the aunt, the niece? Who's the father? Who's the son? Who's the freaking uncle? That would be so confusing. It's just, I don't know. There's just so many different angles you could take. Obviously, age-based discrimination would be very difficult because you can't just look at somebody and say, oh, you're too old for this, you gotta leave. Or maybe it would be heightened because everyone is asking for your age. Everyone wants to see your ID and proof that you are as old as you say. it would also make things like age-restricted aspects of life very difficult, because you can't smoke unless you're 21 years old, at least here in Florida. You can't drink unless you're 21. You can't drive unless you're 16. If you look like you're 16 but you just turned 21, and then you hand them an ID, they might think it's fake. You can't retire until you're 65, but you look like you're 25. They're not going to believe you unless you have a lot of documentation that proves that you are who you say you are. So, a lot of problems can arise from something like that. I mean, imagine, if we go back to the family thing, imagine if you stopped aging at 26, 27, about my age, but you had a child at that age as well, and your child grew up and continued to age because they decided to, past 26, 27, and they stopped aging maybe in their 30s or their 40s, but you still look like you're 25, and they look like they're 40. It looks like you, as the parent, are the child, and they, as the child, are the parent. I mean, how confusing would that be? I mean, imagine all the plot twists you could pull with something like that. In fact, I've actually heard of a movie that has this idea. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm only going off of what I know from the plot. But it's a movie called Orphan. And the basic plot is that there is this young girl who gets adopted by this family. Or she's picked up by the family, she's adopted. I'd have to check the plot. But yes, she joins this family in their house. And she acts really strange, and I think she tries to seduce the dad, like the husband. And like he's like, what is going on here? You're a child, we're not supposed to be doing that. It turns out the character, the child, is actually a 40-year-old woman who has a very special form of dwarfism. So she's short, but she's also very youthful looking. So she looks like a child, but she's actually a full-grown adult. And that's the kind of like crazy plot there. But I mean, you could take that turn. You could make a commentary on you can comment on ageism. You can comment on standards of beauty. You know, why people pick certain ages to stop aging. It could be a comment on youth culture. You know, I mean, a lot of 40, 50-something-year-old individuals want to act like they're still 25 and party with the young kids. Blaze it. 420, brah! Like, what are you doing? You have a mortgage. Stop acting like you're on fucking Jersey Shore. But what if they looked like they belong on Jersey Shore? They're just 40 years old. Just so many different directions you can take with it. So, stopping the biological aging, but still dying of old age. Does it stick? I definitely feel so. I feel like there's a lot of social commentary you can make with it. A lot of interesting sort of plot twists and plot dynamics you can use in that respect. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. And like and subscribe and all the YouTube nonsense. And if you have any great ideas for the next Seeing What Sticks episode, please leave those down below as well. If I like it, I'll use it, and I'll give you a shout out as well. Alright, see y'all.